Hi there, my name is Ewan Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Remembering Love. Today we're going to be looking at the topic of lies and deception. The title of today's video is Small Lies, Big Shame. How little truths can reduce the toxic shame of childhood trauma. So it's quite a big sentence, a mouthful, so let's get into it. So we're going to be looking at lies, and how lies impact our feeling of shame. Now, lying to some degree is part of growing up. It's part of being human. Most people tell little porkies here and there, tell little lies. I think the most common lies are people's weight, age, and height. I think I read the top three. I think number 7 was I love you, which is a little bit worrying. That's maybe a video another day. But so to some degree, lying is part of being human. We see when we're little children, there are these cute little videos on YouTube of, like this.
Jack, did you eat a cupcake?
No.
You didn't eat a cupcake?
No, I was at home.
You sure you didn't eat a cupcake?
No.
Yeah, and those kind of lies are, they're not cute, but they're all part of our psychological development. I have 2 teenage daughters. I regularly catch them tell little lies here and there. They don't want to get in trouble. They want to do something. They want to get out of something else. And the idea is, as you get older, you develop and mature in a way where you become more authentic and more responsible, and you stop telling childish lies. Yet, if you've grown up in a family environment that's dysfunctional enough to the point where you're subject to violence, neglect, sexual, emotional abuse, you've grown up in a household environment where there is a lot of stress, then lying becomes a form of adaptation in order to feel safe, in order to not be harmed. And if you're in an environment where it's that stressful, that regularly, you learn to lie as a matter of course. You just learn to lie in order to stay safe and to stay out of danger. And you lie often enough about enough things to the point where that lying is built in or baked into your whole way of thinking. So it can become very unconscious and very habitual. The problem is, like a lot of these adaptations that we have during our childhood that are functional and do have an intelligence and a reasoning behind them, when we get to our adulthood, they become their own liabilities, and they limit our growth and maturity. So let me give you an example of the kind of lies that I would catch myself saying. So for instance, I would go buy a cap. The cap would be €20. I would get home and tell my wife that it was €15. So why do I do that? Why would I need to shave off 5 pounds? My wife doesn't care whether it was €30 or €25. It's a really silly, stupid little lie. But it's an example of the kind of lies that if you've grown up in a house where you feel a lot of shame, where you feel like you're in trouble all the time, where you feel guilty, that you will just say whether you're aware of it or not. And what's problematic with these type of small lies, these little deceits, a little omission, a little embellishment, a little bit of an exaggeration, whatever it may be, because they're not massive lies, they're not, it's not a betrayal or an infidelity or I'm embezzling money. You could argue they're kind of harmless. What does it matter if I say it's €15 when it's €20? Yet it's that very nature of their smallness allows them to kind of go undetected for a very long time. And on one level you could think, well, it's kind of harmless, it's no big deal, but it's kind of like the drip, drip, drip of poison. Because every time we say one of these lies, what we're really giving the message to ourselves is that we're not safe, that we're in danger, that we can't be authentic, that it's not okay just to be ourselves, that we don't have permission to be honest and authentic and clear. And in of itself, a little lie on its own, like that, it is harmless. And if you're telling 3 or 4 of those a day, over 10, 20, 30 years, you're reinforcing constantly your sense of danger, shame, and inauthenticity. And it isn't healthy and it isn't good. It's a little like when I read there was a WHO report about bacon and these cured meats. And they basically came to this conclusion that bacon and salami and these type of meats, because I think the nitrate in it was carcinogenic, and that if you had one slice of bacon in itself, it's not poisonous, it's not carcinogenic. But if you have a slice of bacon every day for 40 years, from 20 to the age of 60, there is a huge percentage chance that you will have stomach cancer, etc., etc., etc. Because what you're doing is giving yourself little microscopic bits of poison every day. And small lies are like the poisonous cured meats, that in and themselves they're innocuous, but the compounding effect of lie after lie, day after day, reinforces a sense of toxic shame. So what I've learned to do over the last few years, with the help of my therapist and the help of the people around me, is first of all catch myself and make a decision that I don't want to say small little lies. If I say I got home at 2 when I got home at 3, or I would tell ridiculous lies that didn't even make sense. I'd say I had a ham sandwich when I really had a chicken sandwich. I would hide chocolate wrappers at the bottom of the bin. Just silly things. But they compound and they build up over a period of time. So the first thing I would recommend, that if you feel some of what I'm saying relates to you, if you're really honest, and it is hard, it's hard to really stop and say, I do this. Because really no one's going to pull you up over it. No one's really going to kind of make you accountable to those kind of lies. Only you will. So it takes a certain amount of self-awareness and courage to admit to oneself, I do tell a lot of little lies. I do exaggerate, I do embellish. And I'm going to make a decision to do less of that. And to begin with, what we really have to do is just start to be aware that we're doing it. We have to take some ownership that this is actually happening. I am actually regularly lying about silly and small things, and I want to make the decision to stop doing that. And the next step is to experiment, to start saying, that hat cost €20, and discovering that nothing happens. Most of the time, this is all in our imagination, and most of the time, it's just habit. And what I've discovered is little by little, by telling small little truths, by just being a little bit more honest, day by day, about the silly things, that it has reduced gradually some of that background shame, some of that feeling that I'm doing something wrong, or I've got something to feel guilty about, and I'm not projecting that constantly onto those around me. So it's an interesting exercise, but I feel like it's really worth taking on. If you're someone that feels like you identify with what I'm saying, I would try it out, give it a go. And it's gradual. It's one of these things that works little by little, bit by bit. But the reality is we don't need to lie, that the danger is over, the adaptation isn't necessary, most of us are safe, and we can afford to start being honest with others and ourselves. And there is a power to that. And one of the things that I've discovered over a period of years is when I look at my process of healing and working through and dealing with my own childhood trauma, a lot of my big breakthroughs haven't come as sort of aha moments or metanoia or sort of euphoric breakthroughs. Most of them are really the compounding of little things that we're talking about in this video, that small little activities on a day-to-day basis over a period of weeks, months, and years build up, compound, and eventually consolidate. And from one day to the next, I don't really change that much. But over a course of a year, 2 years, 10 years, there's a huge amount of change. And what that does, it breaks our process of healing into bits that we can handle. If we look at the top of the mountain, and childhood trauma can really feel like a mountain. It can feel like a series of mountains that are in front of us. And when we embark on this journey, it can be overwhelming to kind of look inwards and think, I've got so much dysfunction. I've got so many issues. I'm so broken and I'm so screwed up inside. How the hell am I ever going to be on top of this or above it or away from it? But if what we do is like the old sort of Lao Tzu thing of 1,000-mile journey starts with a single step, if what we can do is just take little steps, do these little things, like start telling small little truths, and we start adding to that daily activity of healthy and self-caring things, then it does add up. It does have an effect. And the same way we can sort of give ourselves a drip feed of poison and harm us, we can give ourselves a drip feed of self-love and care, and little by little those things can transform and heal us. Hope this has helped. Hope this has made sense. Like and subscribe. Send this video to someone if you think it might be relevant, although it might be a little bit hint that you think they're a liar, but that's okay. And thank you for watching, and look forward to seeing you coming back. Thank you.